Hi fans, welcome back. In the past video I talked about pawn 3-5 rapid attack in the same position and recommended lance 1-2 to avoid rapid pawn engage, but this time we're going to talk about a board movement which is more exciting. And like I said, if you want to avoid aggressive lines, lance 2-1-2 is a great way to wait, because rapid pawn engage doesn't work. For example, this. It is because the silver is bishop is protected by the silver, so after the bishop exchange, silver can recapture, so it's overplay. But silver to 4-3, which is the main subject today, isn't entirely wrong. You just need to be more prepared, and this video is going to be the big opportunities for you to do so. And like I said, black will push this pawn because now the silver is removed from the square, right? So this pawn push can be effective, and before black will be able to push this pawn, silver comes out to slow him down, and of course he would send backup to play pawn to 4-5 no matter what, and white just keeps going. If white tries to save this pawn like this, then this silver can take control around the king. And then all of a sudden white can push this pawn. This is not just a waiting move, because if black pushes this pawn as well, then white can actually initiate the attack by attacking the edge. And this is a good preparation for it. And then he can exchange pawns. And black takes it, and rook to 1-2. And once white has a lance in hand, he can drop it on 8-4, because now this square is the weakest, so it is not good for black, obviously. So this pawn push is actually a trap, and pawn to 6-6 will be the other option for black, and he can try to trap the silver, but that's okay. White can push this pawn and black takes it, then the silver will survive. It's a little step back, but that's okay. He will be able to create a thickness around the 7th file anyway. And what about pawn push to 4-5 here? If white takes it, then after the bishop trade, black will be able to break through the 2nd file, right? And instead, white can take this pawn. It is always a good idea for static rook side to make the rook a little lighter by pawn sack before the situation gets intense, and then he can take this pawn. And this pawn push is secret. Look at the material. White has 2 pawns, right? So if black takes it, white can drop the pawn to 9-7. If lance take it, then it will be taken like this. And obviously bishop cannot take this, right? Because lance skewer is strong, so it's a little bit of a trouble for black. So he will likely to ignore this pawn push and instead keep going like this. Basically it forces the bishop to come out, and that's okay. White can offer bishop trade. Bishop takes, rook takes. Rook to 2-4 is too slow, and the presence of the silver is so annoying, so he would kick the silver by pawn drop, but it will never back down. Instead, white can sacrifice the silver. King takes, and white can make a check. And since black doesn't have a pawn, it's a huge trouble for black. If king runs, actually it's going to be checkmated like this. So he has to drop something, but again he doesn't have a pawn, so it's so painful for black because he has to drop the bishop in silver instead. But this bishop drop is a strong fork. It's attacking the rook and the silver, so black is already winning. So knight to 4-5 was a little risky, and it seems more natural to drop the pawn now. This time white can calmly move back to a5. And what about the knight jump now? And once again bishop to 4-4. Then black take this pawn this time. Then white can offer rook trade. Rook takes and bishop takes. This rook drop is okay because bishop can simply run, and this pawn drop is cool. Now it's blocking the dragon, so white can drop the rook next. Even if black tries to remove the bishop, that's okay. Pawn drop tactic works. But if white drop it to 4-3, it encourages black to drop the knight to 5-5. Then black can take control because it's difficult for white to defend the square. The game turns into black's favor because white makes a mistake here. Instead of, by the way, pawn drop is correct, but instead of 4-3, he should drop it to 4-2. Then white will be fine. This time knight drop doesn't work because this square is protected by two pieces, and there is no way to further harass this bishop. And white can take over the edge or promote this pawn, or he can also drop this rook. So white has so many options. And even worse, black's bishop isn't working, so white is better. And all the way back to this position, pawn push to 5-5 is more natural because it gives black more flexible offensive options, and usually black sacrifices the pawn, and then rook to 3-8, and it's reasonable for white to defend the square. That's okay. And pawn to 3-4. Then white can trade the central pawn. It gives these pieces more freedom, and once this pawn is removed, these pieces can work more freely. And a rook to 5-2. And once again black can exchange pawns, and this time the rook is attacking the silver. Taking this pawn is tempting, but it's a trap because if white takes it, the silver will be dead. So he needs to move back. But that's okay because black's generals are stagnant, whereas these white's generals are slowly building advantages. He can take control on the third file, but that's okay. Bishop to 5-1, and once again he would kick the silver and then pawn to 4-5. If white takes it, this pawn push is annoying because black can reactivate the bishop. Rook to 1-2 is not an option because it's going to be in a pretty useless position. And instead of taking this pawn, white can drop the pawn to 3-3. And instead of taking it by the bishop, white can take it by the knight. Pawn drop looks scary, but that's okay because white can take this pawn, right? And still this square is secure because these pieces are protecting it. And white's attack is faster, right? Now he can round up around the central file, and after silver runs, for example like this, then white can drop this pawn, and next promotion is so strong, right? But even if black tries to defend the pawn like this, white will still be fine. He can drop this pawn first, and then pawn drop to 3-4, rook runs, and pawn to 4-5. And then the gold will come out. If black promotes the knight, then white can reactivate the bishop, right? And he can take control around the central square. And what about he pushes this pawn now to attack this gold? Instead of dealing with the pawn, white can calmly take this knight. This promotion is surprising because if bishop recaptures, then white will lose the gold. But that's okay. Instead of this, white can take this rook. Look at this material balance. So white is up in material, and the threat of this gold is still going. So black is actually losing here. So this sacrifice isn't so great. So he would take this gold. And then what happened? Knight recaptures, right? And once again, next pawn promotion is strong. So white is winning here. Alright, that's all. Now you have two major options here. Lance 1-2 gives you more flexible options and makes black commit. And by silver to 4-3, you can commit to more exciting lines. Either option is great, and choose whatever you feel like doing to outsmart your opponents. I hope you like this. As always, thanks for watching and see you all next time. Bye.